It's a great honor to be here, but I was thinking Alí's talk was like a full menu, and I'm sure nobody is ready to have any more, so I will offer just a small portion of a very delicate sorbet. I was thinking that this city of Los Angeles is very special for me because I have been here many times, and those wonderful trips that I came here with our precious Amatul Bahar Rúhíyyih Khánum. As Ali was talking about Shoghi Effendi and the guardianship, it occurred to me that what this precious and unique woman, Amatul Bahar Rúhíyyih Khánum, has done for all of us, the legacy that she has left for us, apart from her travels, apart from her books, apart from her talks, apart from her contact with the officials and the leaders, it's this beautiful and precious book of priceless pearl. In this book, she has brought Shoghi Effendi close to us. She has made Shoghi Effendi a person that we can approach, not only we, but our children and our grandchildren, that we will be close to him and see him as a man who suffered, as a man who rejoiced, as a man who had a sense of humor, as a man who did so much for this cause of Baha'u'llah. And this was a gift that Rúhíyyih Khánum gave to us. She used to say the reason why she wrote that book was when she read an article written by one of the Baha'is saying that Shoghi Effendi had blue eyes. And she said this upset her so much, she decided that she should put down on paper certain essential parts. She knew, and she always said that in the future, many, many books will be written about Shoghi Effendi from the different aspects of his life. As we see already, several has been written, but that she put the essentials down in this book of priceless pearl. Many times Baha'is, after her talks, would ask more personal questions about Shoghi Effendi, and Rúhíyyih Khánum would say, everything that you should know, I have put it down in that book. Apart from the priceless pearl that, as I said, is really her greatest gift in this dispensation, it's a textbook for us. It's a book that will bring us close to Shoghi Effendi. She also has a very wonderful life that I hope one day, again, very able Baha'is will write the different aspects of her life, because she was a very unique personality herself. Because she was, I remember once we arrived in a town, and we were guests in a home of young married couple, and they had a little boy, and this little boy was very precocious, and he used to have the platform always and talked freely. So his parents must have told him that now we are going to have a very important guest. Don't talk, you just sit and listen. This was very new to him. And when we arrived there, I remember this little boy with round eyes sat down and just stared at Rúhíyyih Khánum. And Rúhíyyih Khánum said, "What are you thinking?" Just quiet. Then again Rúhíyyih Khánum said, come and sit near me and tell me, what are you thinking? You are looking at me. He suddenly blurted out, he said, "Why are you so important?" And Rúhíyyih Khánum gave a very simple and sweet answer. He said, I'll tell you why I am important. He said, you know, we had only one Shoghi Effendi, and this Shoghi Effendi had only one wife, and that's me. I remember at lunchtime, she turned to the father of this little boy. He said, look, I gave your son the first lesson in economics, supply and demand. So this really was what Rúhíyyih Khánum thought of herself when she received all the respect and all the honor from the Baha'is. Not that she enjoyed when they called her the queen of the Baha'i world, she used to get very upset, but she accepted all of this for Shoghi Effendi. After her passing, when we were going through the papers of Rúhíyyih Khánum, I found in one of her early letters to her own mother, there was something so beautiful. It was just gives us a glimpse of this Rúhíyyih Khánum. Said, if you ask me what is my theme in life, I'll say Shoghi Effendi. This was to the end of her life. Her theme was Shoghi Effendi, her goal was Shoghi Effendi, her love was for Shoghi Effendi, of course, after the love of Baha'u'llah and so on. And towards the end of her life, so many times, we heard her say, when I die, my only concern is that first look of Shoghi Effendi. Is he going to be happy with me? Is he going to be well pleased with me or not? This was really what she lived for, and what all the trips that she did and all the services that she did for 40 years, because the last 3 years was different. For 40 years after the passing of Shoghi Effendi, Rúhíyyih Khánum never sat still. I get myself flabbergasted. I have got over 40 volumes of diaries, and sometimes I go just to look at the back of these diaries where I have listed the number of the countries and places that in 1 year or sometimes in 6 months she have been in. It is unbelievable. I don't think until now we have had any hand of the cause or otherwise, any believer who had done that amount of traveling, that vast distances that Rúhíyyih Khánum crossed and reached out to the Baha'is. She had many passions in life. She was a very passionate human being. She had many loves and she had many passions. She loved arts and she loved sciences and she loved all kinds of things. She used to say, she said once she told Shoghi Effendi, I'm very interested in whatever she was doing. And Shoghi Effendi looked at her and said, what aren't you interested in? This was the nature of Rúhíyyih Khánum. She was interested and she would go deep into it, and she would really enjoy going into things. But her real and the final and the primary passion in life was teaching. I am sure many of you who have been at her meetings and who have heard her, or you have been pilgrims and heard her, this was her message. And as she grew older and as her time became shorter, she became more intense in passing this message to the Baha'is. She wrote one of her last letters that she wrote to one of the national assemblies. She speaks of her new idea that to her, hell is regret. She said, can you imagine what a hell that is for us to go into the next world and we look back in our lives and look at opportunities that we missed in service to the cause, opportunities that we could have grabbed and used and we did not. What hell could be worse than that? And this, as I say, this passion became even stronger when she was not even well, and towards very end of her life, I never forget, one day she suddenly turned to me and she said, it was the time that I had finished the manuscript of African Safari, and I was reading every day parts of it to her. So she was back in her mind, she was really back in Africa. And many times she would be, thinking that we are going somewhere. And in one of these moments, she suddenly turned to me, she said, how old is that boy? And I tried to think which boy, and I suddenly realized she was talking about the boy of her own secretary. I said, Khánum, he is 13. She said, that's the age. Next time we go, I will invite him to go with us. He said, that's the age that they should send the children out, so that they can taste the sweetness of teaching. Once they taste that, they would want it all their lives. To think that at that part, this was maybe about 3 months before she passed away, her mind was continuously on how we can teach, what we should do, how we should bring up our children so that they'll have this passion. Passion of teaching should be the most important thing in their lives. So I often think that in this field of teaching, in our plans, that she would be, probably is, one of the members of the concourse on high that we can call on to come to our aid. She was very particular about how we should call these members of the concourse. She was very cute. She had beautiful sense of humor. She said we shouldn't just say concourse on high, we should think who we want. Once we had trouble in the car. We were driving in Africa and there was something wrong. Neither of us were mechanics. We didn't far away from anywhere. And as we were agitated and praying, she suddenly turned to me. She said, do you know anybody up there who is a good mechanic? So she was particular about who we should call. She often used to say before going to visit a king or president or something like that, she said, I am praying to Martha Ruth. Martha knew how to do it. So I think there she is for us, to call her to come to our aid so that we can go on and use our lives and our times in the promotion of this cause of Baha'u'llah. Thank you.